Hi folks, welcome to this week's TomBob Outdoors Friends and Wild Places. I'm with Todd Deluccia from Keystone Predator Outfitters. Last year, remember Todd and I, well, we were up in the mountains of the Pennsylvania Great Outdoors region in Cameron County chasing brook trout. Something a little different this time. We'll be back in just a minute.
Walking on the wild side, wide open every time, letting it fly. You can find me high on the mountaintop, floating down a river rock, living for the ride. If you really want room to run, I'll show you where to get it done. Step off the back porch, jump across the fence, don't let the barbed wire catch you in the pants. I'll be waiting in the bottom by the TomBob Creek. Come on, take a walk on the wild side with me.
I'm John Straitiff, with me Todd Deluccia from Keystone Predator Outfitters. Last year, remember Todd and I, well, we were chasing around brook trout with real small rods. Doing something a lot different this time. We're in Pennsylvania's Great Outdoors up in Cameron County. We're gonna be on the Driftwood branch of Sinnemahoning, and we're gonna go after smallmouth bass with a fly rod and drift boats. Now, if you've done some trout fishing, well, the gear we're using today is just a little bit different. Todd, can you fill us in on what we're doing today?
So your typical trout fly fishing setup, you're usually throwing 4 weights, 5 weights, maybe a little smaller.
Yeah.
Maybe even a 6 weight, but today we're gonna be throwing 7 weights and 8 weights. We're gonna be throwing some bigger flies, streamers. We're also not gonna be fishing floating lines too much today, unless we're fishing poppers. We're gonna be throwing intermediate sinking lines. This is a full sinking line. It sinks about only an inch or two a second, just to get a little extra depth to the fly. We do have some other lines that get us deeper if we need to, but for the most part, it's summer. We're gonna be fishing the intermediate line.
Well, folks, we're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna see Todd, 2014 World Muskie Fly Fishing Champion. He throws a great line. Then there's me. I'm a novice hacker, but we'll still get some fish. We're doing a little bit of fly fishing for bass, and if you do trout fishing, you're used to matching hatches and patterns of all types. When you go smallmouth fishing, well, Todd, you really can't start in Pennsylvania talking about fly fishing unless you talk the Clouser minnow.
Yeah, the Clouser minnow was created by Bob Clouser, and he's down in the Harrisburg area, a famous guide for smallmouth bass. He started on the Susquehanna. That pattern's probably caught more fish than any other fly out there. There's probably not too many that's caught more.
That's for sure. Now, we're fishing on the Driftwood branch of Sinnemahoning Creek also, and known for crayfish. So we've got a pattern here, as you can see, looks a whole lot like a crawdad.
Yep. Now we got some other minnow patterns that are a little, like the Clouser minnow's weighted. This fly, this is just a little articulated thing. It's got a lot of marabou and some flash in it. This thing swims really nice and darts in the water when you strip it. Then you got this fly. A buddy of mine from New York created this fly. It's called the spruce donkey. Fish this with a sinking line.
And that's spun deer hair.
That's spun deer hair, yeah. And it really looks like a knuckleball coming through the water. It goes all over the place. And then this has become a pretty popular pattern over the years. The Game Changer. This is a bigger fly. If the water's up or cold, we'll sometimes switch to bigger flies. I was catching a lot of really big smallmouth on the river this year in the springtime on this fly.
And one of my favorites, just the old traditional topwater popper. Goes along, moves a lot of water, and personally, I like seeing them come up and grab it off the surface. Folks, we're gonna unload the boats, hit the water. We'll be back and light them up.
Welcome back to TomBob Outdoors Friends and Wild Places. We joined back up with our posse just as their boats had been loaded onto the Driftwood branch of Sinnemahoning Creek, and they get to fishing.
Well, Todd, there's a really unique story about
there's a big one.
Hey, fish on, nice.
This is a really nice fish,
We'll
too.
pick that story up in a minute. Beautiful smallie.
Oh, that's a tank, too.
Nice fish.
That's
Way to start the day. Nice.
You got the anchor. You guys want to get up here and get a good shot? That's a good, probably 18-inch smallmouth.
Really good eat, man.
Really nice.
Todd, there we go. Excellent.
That fish just come off the backside of a rock and crushed it.
That's a good sign.
We'll get it. Back in the water. It's a good start.
I told my wife, I said, if I can come back without piercing somebody's ear, I'll call it a good day. And folks, since we're fishing streamers, you notice that we are constantly stripping line. Got to make the fly dance to look like food. And erratic motion, Todd had taught me last week when we came out and did a little fishing. You got to make her dance to make them hit.
Yeah, if you can make that fly look wounded, or
Yeah.
that is a trigger for predatory fish. If they can see that,
That rings the dinner bell
that's
for
an
us.
that's an easy meal for
Yes,
them.
sir. And then the crayfish imitations that we fish, you want to make it pop like a crayfish swims.
Yep.
And folks, you don't have to have a drift boat to enjoy this fishery. It makes it a lot more fun.
There's plenty of wade fishing opportunities here.
So Todd, if a guy's a trout fisherman, he goes, gee, this looks like a ton of fun. Let's go up there to Cameron County and wet a fly. What would you tell him to pick up either online or at their local fly store? Give me a top 5 that you need to bring in your box if you're going to do smallies, whether here or on your home water.
For smallmouth, you're gonna want a little bit stouter of a leader. You know, we're fishing like 12-pound, 15-pound leaders today.
All right.
So you're gonna want a heavier leader. With these sinking lines, we don't usually fish real long leaders. We're only fishing like 6-foot leaders.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one chasing. Eat it. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, is it good?
Nice, nice fish. And Phil's got the thankless job today, rowing and netting.
We'll let Phil.
We got to get Phil on the water too.
We'll let Phil do a little fishing today.
Absolutely.
At some point. Another good one.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
This is a good fish. It's 14. Got a crawfish hanging out of its mouth.
Imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Todd, when was the spawn on here? Starting at 1st of May, or depending on water temp?
Water temps, but yeah, pretty much sometime in May. We're coming, or the early May. We're on the post spawn right now.
We'll have to see if we. Oh yeah! Hey!
All
I waited long enough. A little too long there, Phil.
Yeah, because you wasn't paying attention.
And I was listening to Todd. Oh, we got a rock bass.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, red eye. We'll take care of him. I don't need to net on him. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, if you're interested in coming up here and going fishing or exploring, oh, baby ducks.
Where at? Yep.
But if you're interested in exploring this area, real simple. Just jump on your computer and type in visitpago.com. Hit Cameron County. There's listings for places to stay, eat, the little museum, lots of things to do and see up here in addition to fishing. You're also in the heart of Pennsylvania's wild elk country. We're just a short drive from the Elk Country Visitor Center up in Benezet. Matter of fact, I saw a gorgeous bull on the way down here today. And I think on my drive in, right at the boat. Did you figure 8 them like a muskie?
I think I did. And
Darn near. I think I'm ready to put a streamer on.
This is another football.
Mm-hmm.
not as good as the other.
Not as good as the others.
It's still a nice
It's
fish.
fighting as good though.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Bravo.
All right, I think it's Phil's turn to fish.
All righty.
He might start putting me on the bad water if I.
Again, folks.
This is an average driftwood branch smallmouth. This is 13, probably 14-inch fish.
Yep.
That's your average fish in a driftwood, and that's pretty good average. But
And they're really healthy fish. I mean, look at the belly on them. They obviously eat well here.
yeah, this one's eating.
Welcome back to Friends in Wild Places. After a few switches in the boat, our posse is right back to fishing, talking about some of the history and the events that have happened in recent years on the Driftwood branch of Sinnemahoning Creek.
Well, Todd, this fishery, we know right now it's absolutely loaded with fish. There's no doubt about it. But it wasn't always that way. Just, about a dozen years ago, this fishery was in pretty dire straits because of an accident.
Yeah, in June of 2006, there was flooding on the east side of the state, and they detoured a train through Cameron County, McKean County, Cameron County, down Keating Summit. And Keating Summit is actually the steepest railroad grade in Pennsylvania, I think. He tried to run the hill, ride it out, ended up derailing, and about 46,000 gallons of sodium hydroxide were dumped into the stream.
Basically Drano.
Yeah, sodium hydroxide is the active ingredient in Drano. And what does Drano do to proteins in your drain?
It dissolves it. It's what it's made for.
So, literally, it happened in Portage Creek. Was where the initial spill was. It killed everything. Complete fish kill, complete bug kill, plants, everything for 11 miles of Portage Creek. When it got to Driftwood, it started diluting a little bit, but we had fish kill all the way through the Driftwood and even down into the big Sinnemahoning Creek a little bit, down about to where the first fork dumps in. They timed, we were lucky, it was June, so we don't normally have high flow. Stevenson Dam let out a bunch of water to time the slug of pollution coming and diluted it a little bit. So we had fish kill for about 30 miles. But everything come back, and everything come back naturally. This is all on its own. There's no, I mean, this trout were stocked like they always are, but all the bass, that's all natural coming back. So this is a phenomenal, that just tells you how good a fishery this is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've just seen countless fish already, and every fish working on the water, a lot of invertebrates, a lot of amphibians, and the eagles flying around, the osprey. It's obviously a wonderful story of a fishery recovering, and shows just how strong a fishery it is. Alrighty, well, I'm ready to get going again.
All right.
All right, Todd, you were telling me about a special knot that you're fishing that makes the streamers and what we're throwing today swim, you feel, a lot more action in the water and produce a lot more hookups. And can you tell us about it and show us how we do it?
So it's called there's a couple different ones, the non-slip mono. It's also called the Rapala knot. There's also the perfection loop. I'm gonna tie the non-slip mono knot or Rapala knot right now. So basically, you take your leader material, tie an overhand knot, but don't close it. Stick your tag end through your fly, and then go back through your overhand knot, and you want to bring it till you get your loop about the size you want, and then make 3 or 4 turns. Slide it back through that overhand knot. Give everything a cinch, and then look how that fly swings instead of
instead of straight on, it gives you more action. Totally understand it. Well, folks, we're going to continue to float down the beautiful Driftwood branch of Sinnemahoning Creek in Cameron County. We'll be right back with some more TomBob Outdoors Friends in Wild Places right after this. Welcome back to TomBob Outdoors Friends in Wild Places. We're fly fishing via drift boats on the Driftwood branch of Sinnemahoning Creek in beautiful Cameron County in Pennsylvania's great outdoors region. I'm with Todd Deluccia from Keystone Predator Outfitters, and we're chasing smallies, having a great time, and I just missed a fish while I was talking to you. That's always a good thing. Not a place that I really enjoy, but it's close.
Not a good bluegill population.
No.
And that's what you need.
There's no food, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's what you need is large amounts.
Oh, there we go. No, that was a smallmouth. Yeah, all 4 inches of them.
Another good smallmouth.
Guys, we're just about ready to head down through a riffle here, and you'll see on the left side some big logs. That's one of Todd's projects with the Conservation District on stream improvement. Before we hit that, Todd, can you tell us a little bit about it, and then we get down there, we'll be able to pick her up on camera.
So this is where we started fishing today is a local farmer property, and this farmer had contacted me, and he had a real bad erosion problem. That bank was probably, well, you see how tall the bank is. It's 10 feet tall, and we worked with him. We build, you know, you see a lot of stone in it, but what you don't see is it's what we call a modified mud sill crib wall. And what that does is that provides an artificial overhead cover for fish. So the fish can actually get in underneath that crib wall like 3 or 4 feet. So that's perfect. You know, big brown trout, small, every fish loves that stuff. So probably if we were fishing for trout, we stopped there and drifted a few big stoneflies or something through there, we'd probably get something, but trout are stupid.
And I was just looking over over your shoulder, and we've got a trout raising out in front of Phil there, just a little bit, or something popping on the top.
Yeah, there's fish working. I see him rising up there. Pretty sure the one that you missed come up and smiled at us. There's a fish.
Get him?
Yeah.
All right,
That's
Phil.
a decent one.
Good one. Oh, online release, doggone it.
Is that a rainbow trout?
That was a smallie.
Good one.
Mm-hmm. Good looking spot.
Oh, fish.
Another one.
Oh, that's a better one right there.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's better than I thought it was.
They're all good. Some are just better than others. Thank you, sir. He's not huge, but he's a smallie.
John still gets to keep his name.
Yep. Dinkmaster. That shows up in the graphics. You're in trouble, Forsyth. Folks, if you're interested in giving this a shot, you can get a hold of Todd at Keystone Predator Outfitters. He's got a Facebook page. Todd, if guys want to go fishing, what's a half-day trip, a full-day trip? What's included? What do they do to get a hold of you and get things going?
So you can get a hold of me on Facebook or email keystonepredator@yahoo.com. Phone's good, 814-592-1080. You know, half-day trips, we do $200, full day, $350. Full day, I provide lunch, and we always have lots of water and stuff on the boat.
Well, we talk about you need different rods to do this. Everything's provided. I mean, heck, Todd even ties my flies on for me, and you can't get any easier than that.
Yeah, I provide everything. I provide all the gear. I provide all the flies. We do, aside from smallmouth, we do muskie and pike on the fly as well. Again, all the gear provided.
I would like to thank Patrick Lombardo, Phil Smill, my good buddy Todd. We had a great time fishing on the Driftwood branch of Sinnemahoning Creek in Pennsylvania's great outdoors region. Come up and visit Cameron County. We'll see you next time on TomBob Outdoors, Friends in Wild Places.